Hi everyone, within this video interview I'm discussing the point with regards to interdimensional dimensional communication, as there are still human beings even participating within process that is attempting or trying interdimensional dimensional communication, and within as and through doing so actually creating and manifesting alternate mind dimensions within and as their own mind consciousness system, forming, manifesting, designing and programming their own entities as outflows of their own personalities and suppressions and one's needs and desires, and within that actually compromising their own individual process within the physical, in this world, in reality, with and as others that are walking process as well. Please understand that in terms of the interdimensional dimensional existence, it no more exists. It has been removed from within and as this physical manifested existence, so that human beings can start focusing on themselves and their own individual process within practically functioning and existing and living within and as that which is real, which is the physical. I mean, we have for so long throughout our lives participated within and existed as a system which within its very pre-programmed manifestation of knowledge and information consists of and exists as the substance of and as energy, which only exists within patterns and cycles, and thus within that is not real, but by the existence thereof within how it functions through and as its pre-programmed design of programs and networks and unified fields and connections and relationships. We are currently within and as the process of assisting and supporting ourselves to find out what it means to actually live here within the physical reality that is in fact real, and within and through that assisting and supporting ourselves to become equally as real as the physical, to in fact live, express and experience ourselves within who we are, and to do that within a principle that's best for all, equal and one, so that we simultaneously can change this reality, this world in and as the physical within an experience where all exist equal as one for real in that actual real physical reality. Thus and therefore within that is why we've decided to remove and stop the interdimensional dimensional existence from within and as the physical, because their existence have made it more difficult for human beings to be able to focus on themselves individually in that process of realizing themselves in making themselves real in this actual physical reality, and focusing absolutely, completely and wholly only on self here, in developing self-living, self-expression and self-experience in, as and with the physical equal and one. So the decision was made within and as a principle of and as what's best for all. Because now also with the interdimensional dimensional existence removed, any and all perceived, believed interdimensional dimensional communication can now be specifically identified, analyzed, investigated, introspected, explored in terms of how it is itself is in fact creating such total manifested dimensions within, as and through one's own mind consciousness system. Therefore, in terms of any interdimensional dimensional communication that has been had, it is not real. It is in fact a creation from within and as one's own mind consciousness system. We have done extensive video interviews and documents explaining in detail how such mind dimensions are generated, created, and designed, even the beings as energetic entities, as projected representations of and as one's own personality, and how that is created and programmed within and as one's own mind consciousness system is specifically in detail explained and given perspective for within the forums and within the Desteni Productions channel on YouTube. So I suggest to assist and support yourself if you find yourself thinking, believing, or perceiving yourself to be communicating with the dead, to understand that it is not real, to stop communication, because you're in fact communicating with your own mind within your own generated, self-created and programmed alternate mind dimensions. Suggested to thus focus only here on your own process with and as yourself alone, within and as yourself, in and as the physical. Understand that at the moment, in terms of where you are within your process, all that exists within you is you, and how you have created, designed, manifested, and programmed yourself into as parts of you through and as a mind consciousness system that's currently separated into and as personalities. So this is your process of firstly getting to know yourself as the mind consciousness system, to through that see, realize, and understand how you've accepted and allowed yourself to separate yourself, to unify yourself with yourself as the mind consciousness system, to stand equal to and one with what you've accepted and allowed yourself to be and become through self-forgiveness and writing, and to assist and support yourself to stop, stand up, and change through self-corrective application. The Desteni I Process is also available, that takes this process in walking this whole experience of seeing, realizing, understanding yourself as the mind, and change you as the mind to become a living example of what's best for all in and as equality and oneness, and walking this within detail and specificity with a buddy is also available for those who are really serious about stopping, standing up, changing, and getting this done, in actually becoming a living example of what human beings are capable of being, living, expressing, and experiencing in this world, in reality, in and as the physical. So therefore, understand that the dimensions do no more exist. So if you are thinking, believing, perceiving, or interpreting yourself to be communicating with dimensions, interdimensions, stop immediately, unconditionally let it go. Do research on the documents and video interviews available explaining in detail the mind dimensional creations that is perceived, interpreted, and believed to be the dimensions or interdimensional existence that has in fact been created, manifested, and designed through self, through one's own mind consciousness system, and is in fact really not real. In how to assist and support oneself in walking through it. If further support and assistance is required or necessary, the forum is available for questions and perspectives. And therefore, one will, within the process of humanity as a whole, be able to immediately see who requires assistance and support in terms of who's not, in fact, standing up for equality and oneness is what's best for all, within wanting to deliberately participate within that which is not real, within that which has in fact made no difference to anything or anyone, by deliberately continuing with communication with that which is not real. So therefore, we'll be easily able to see who's for real, meaning who's really serious about changing what requires being changed, which is this physical reality in which we're practically functioning and living within and as every moment of and as breath. This is what requires changing. And the only way we're going to, in fact, stop and change and stand up from this physical manifested reality as how it exists is if we, in fact, change how we live, who we are within and as every moment of breath. So therefore, the focus is physicality. What is real? What is here? Who we are in every moment of breath. This is the focus. This is where we've got to stand together. And then within that, one more point also that is of importance to take note of and take into consideration is understand that when, while, and as your walking process, you start seeing, realizing, and understanding what it is that you have accepted and allowed yourself to be and become. And also, you start seeing the specifics and the detail of how it is that you're accepting and allowing yourself to do and be what you are as the mind consciousness system, meaning you start seeing your deceptions and your dishonesties, and you apply yourself to assist and support yourself to stop, stand up, and change from and as such an accepted and allowed existence. Now, when you have an R walking process and you then within and during your process deliberately stop and attempt and try to revert back to and as the mind consciousness system, understand that your fall within that and the manifested consequence that you will face will be severe and extreme, because it is like a absolute deliberate act of like deliberately showing the finger to life, to equality in oneness, to self-honesty, to the reality of what is here, turning your back on it and saying, I choose dishonesty and deception. So, I mean, the extent of that action that one take in accepting and allowing oneself to deliberately stare in the face of life and choose the mind and the manifested consequence of separation that has created this reality as what it is, and everything and all that exists within and as it is severe. So you can just imagine the manifest consequence that one will face in relation to such a deliberate act of not in fact changing when one see the dishonesty and deception of self, but actually then deliberately accept and allow self to continue within that deception, dishonesty and secrecy, wherein one thus make the statement that one choose the system and the consequence of and as what the system created, designed and manifested as, and everything that exists within and as this world, this reality as it exists now in this current moment. So therefore, for example, those that are not yet within process, that hadn't yet had this opportunity of seeing, realizing, understanding the details, specifics of how it is that we're existing as the mind and the manifest consequence of that, are from that perspective still innocent, meaning they're still completely possessed and consumed within and as their pre-programming. They haven't yet had the opportunity to see, realize, understand the extent and the consequence and the manifestation of their existence as the mind consciousness system. And from that perspective, their participation and existence as the mind consciousness system is innocent. However, if you've been in process and you've seen exactly the detail and specifics of you as the mind consciousness system, you've seen the dishonesties, you've seen the deceptions, even if it is only some of them, and you've seen exactly how they work, how they operate, and yet still you deliberately choose to continue and not stop, stand up and change, there within that action, you're no more innocent. And therefore your manifest consequence is going to be equal to and one with what you've accepted and allowed to do within that very moment of standing in front of life and showing it the finger. There has already been beings that have experienced such manifested consequence up to the point where their possession has been totally, completely internalized due to the guilt and the fear that's generated within that action, because resonantly you know what you're in fact accepting and allowing yourself to do, but yet you're still doing it and allowing yourself to give in and give up within the addiction of energy. And that action, there's going to be consequence. For all actions, there is consequence, one way or the other. So here just also a point to take note of, and that's not suggested. I mean, if you see, realize and understand what it is that you've accepted and allowed yourself to be and become, utilize this opportunity to gift you to yourself in changing you, in becoming a being that you are assisting and supporting yourself to be and become through your own practical living efforts, through your self-forgiveness, through your writing. I mean, you're rediscovering, re-experiencing, re-establishing you for yourself. I mean, here you are, even listening to this video interview, you, of all of humanity in this current moment, have this opportunity right here. And there are many in this world, in this reality, that could have this opportunity, but they can't yet at this very moment. So understand that it is a gift to be able to be here and listen to this video interview and see, realize and understand that within this very moment of listening to this video interview, the responsibility that one have to take this opportunity and assist and support oneself to live to one's utmost fullest potential and becoming a living example of what we're capable of being and becoming within a principle that's best for all, equal and one. Understand the mind consciousness system, even at this stage, is extremely fragile, meaning it's so easy to fuck with oneself in creating alternate dimensions, alternate dimensional beings, entities, personalities, personas. I mean, it's just here within the very example of the interdimensions, dimensions haven't been existing already for quite some time, and still there are beings thinking, believing or perceiving that they're actually communicating to something or someone when they're in fact not. So therefore, with the fragility of the mind, we are so emphasizing to not deliberately, unnecessarily compromise or harm one's process within the physical through participating within dimensional realities of one's own mind consciousness system, but assist and support oneself to live and participate and stick to what is real within this physical reality only, and assist and support oneself in living and applying the tools of self-honesty, self-forgiveness, writing, blogging and flogging in walking one's process within reality to stop the mind and live in the physical as breath. Thank you very much.